I think there's a great deal of shame that people feel when they are in this spiritual space, doing the best that they can with what they have, doing their practices every day, and they still don't feel great. They still don't feel like, I can manifest everything, and oh my gosh, I am in charge of my reality. Like, sometimes it isn't like that. Hello everybody, welcome. I hope you are having a magical day. If you're new here, my name is Taylluna. I'm so happy to have you. I'm gonna be honest, I have absolutely zero plan for this video today. I planned on doing something entirely different, but there's something that's been heavy on my heart and I really wanted to just kind of open the space to talk about these things with you guys. I think it's super important. So today I wanted to dive in a little bit more into the toxicity in the spiritual community. I have already filmed a video that kind of dives in just slightly to the toxicity in this community. It's all about spiritual bypassing. So if you haven't seen it, I will link it in the cards up there. So today I wanted to really dive into kind of the claims that are made in this community about healing, about working through traumas, about working through anxiety, depression, oh my god, anything, you name it, the claims have been made. I honestly have done the best that I can to make sure that I'm not claiming these things. Even though these spiritual practices have helped me with a lot of those things, spirituality is not a cure-all thing, to just be blunt. I'm going to start by telling a little bit about my story and about how I became this spiritual person. I will be doing a whole video about that. That was the video I was supposed to be filming and posting for you this week, but I thought that this was a little bit more important as a preface because of my anxiety and depression problems. I've had them all my life, ever since I was young and in school. I think it was about middle school when these problems really started hitting really hard, and I have been seeing therapists my entire life. It started when my mom and when I was young, my mom and I didn't really get along the best because we're so similar, we would just butt heads like crazy and we just could not see eye to eye. It was really hard for us to grow in our relationship together. So we ended up seeking out a therapist. We saw her for a while, and she just kind of helped us communicate to each other in a way that we could not figure out how to do ourselves. So that's where my therapy journey started. I think this was about, and Mom, I know you're watching this, so correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was about end of elementary to middle school time, somewhere in there is when this therapy started. So if you've ever been to therapy before, you probably know that finding a therapist that works really well for you is very difficult. It is a process. You don't just walk into a therapist's office and boom, and then the first therapist that you're matched up with is just the one and everything's great. It's definitely not like that. So we were with that therapist for a while. Took some good things from it. We eventually found a really good therapist for me, and I stuck with her from, that young age, junior high school age, to pretty much all throughout high school until I moved. So she was a godsend. I love her. I think that without her, I wouldn't be here. And if I was, then I wouldn't be where I'm at mentally, spiritually, all of the things. So I want to really, really make it clear that spirituality and all of the practices, the healing modalities that you learn, that I teach, are supposed to be an additive, a supplement to professional care in whatever way that you can get that. I realize that in this country, the accessibility to healthcare, affordable healthcare is an issue, and so having access to therapists and, different professional ways of dealing with your traumas is not always a possibility for people. The reason that I want to share what I've learned and want to share the practices that I do for myself to help me is because I realize that not everybody has access to the things that I've had access to. I'm very lucky, I'm very privileged, and 120 million% understand that. My therapist was very into mindfulness, was very into journaling, and she was very into different techniques that kind of brought you more inward. And I have since taken those like lessons and techniques and applied them to my life now. I have, you know, kind of dived in a little bit deeper with some of the things that she taught me. But at the same time, these spiritual practices are not going to entirely heal everything that you've been through. They're not going to make your traumas completely go away. They're not going to make your anxiety symptoms, your depression symptoms just stop. And that is something that I feel in the spiritual community is not explained well enough. And it almost seems to get to the point where there is some shame involved when maybe you have a super regular routine where you get up and you do yoga and you know, use your crystals and your cards or whatever it is that you like to do, and you still find yourself feeling bad, feeling anxious, feeling depressed. And I feel like there's a lot of shame about that in the spiritual community, and this does tie into spiritual bypassing. So if you haven't seen that video, please go and watch it. I think it's so important to understand that we cannot ignore these things. Why are they blowing the grass every time I try and film? So anyway, as I was saying, I think there's a great deal of shame that people feel when they are in this spiritual space, doing the best that they can with what they have, doing their practices every day, and they still don't feel great. They still don't feel like, I can manifest everything, and oh my gosh, I am in charge of my reality. Like, sometimes it isn't like that. It's not that black and white for everybody. Some conditions absolutely need professional help, and that is the reality of it. I am here because I realize that access to this professional help is really difficult sometimes for some people, and I want to provide you with tools that may help you cope in the meantime until you're able to get that professional help. And also because I have been, I've seen a therapist almost my whole life, and once I moved to where I live now, I decided to try and kind of take the reins by myself. I felt that I was doing good. I wasn't on medications anymore. I discussed that with my doctor, my therapist, my psychiatrist. It was a group decision. I felt like I could take this into my own hands. And in doing that, I have learned a lot of things, techniques to kind of take what they taught me, my therapist take what she taught me and continue to work on those things. These are the things that I do every single day to help myself feel good. And I want to be able to share those things with you guys. Does that mean that this is curing my anxiety disorder? Hell no. These spiritual practices aren't going to cure your problems. They're going to help you cope with them. They're going to help you work through them. For me, if I'm having a panic attack, which I do suffer from panic anxiety, if I'm having a panic attack, breath work and meditation is going to help me with my panic attack symptoms. Now, is it going to take my panic attack away? Not at all. It's going to help me cope through the panic attack. Does this make sense? I want this to be very clear for you guys. So please, if you have questions, feel free to leave them below or DM me on Instagram. You guys know I'm always open to chatting on Instagram with you. This isn't to try and shout myself out. I really want to be here to help you and support you. But I want to make it very clear that everything that I share with you, take with a grain of salt, basically. My business mentor, Riley, has been diving into this toxicity in the spiritual space on her Instagram. So please, if you feel called to this message, if you want to dive in a little bit deeper, go and follow her. I adore her, and everything she says is just chef's kiss. Thank you for putting words to what I've had in my brain for so long. But I feel as a spiritual person who is sharing her things with you guys, it is my responsibility to let you know that I am not here to cure you. And none of the practices that I share are here to cure you. It is supposed to be something that you add into your routine to help you cope, to help you with what you're dealing with. I want this to be helpful for you if you maybe don't have access to those things at the time being. Maybe these things can just kind of help you cope through what you're going through until you can get that help. or if you do have help right now, if you are seeing a therapist or somebody that is helping you through your issues, I hope that adding these practices into whatever your doctors are telling you, I hope that it's helpful for you. If you have seen a therapist or somebody in the past, like myself, I hope that sharing these practices with you can help you kind of tap back into what you learned from those times. In working with the techniques and the things that your therapist or your doctor taught you when you were seeing them. I'm sorry to come on here and rant. I really don't like to sit here and like be all negative. I don't think I'm being negative at all. I'm just being real, and that's what the whole point of this spiritual journey is, to be in truth. And the truth is when you need help, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is absolutely okay. It is absolutely necessary. And I am here to support you on your journey to healing, whatever that looks like for you. And I will always be here to help in any way. But I'm not a licensed doctor. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm here sharing my personal journey, what has helped for me personally, and in hopes that it will help you and that you can take something from it. Comment down below if that makes sense. Comment down below if this speaks to you, I guess. I was talking to my dad the other day about one of you guys reaching out to me for help, and he was like, and he's very supportive of what I do. It has nothing to do with him not supporting me, but he's like, you should really consider including some sort of disclaimer in the things that you do or teach, whatever. And at first I was kind of like annoyed. I was like, you don't think it works? But it's not that, it's not that. It might work, it might help me, but it's not going to take the problem away forever. It might help in the time being. Like I said about panic attacks, doing breath work is going to help me cope through my panic attack, but it's not going to take away my panic attacks. Like, I'm still going to get them. That's just the reality of it. And I personally think that diving into your trauma and working through things is entirely important in our lives. It's important for growth, but sometimes you need support. You need professional support, whatever that looks like for you. So I'm gonna quit rambling because I think I'm saying the same thing over and over again. But I hope that you guys understand, and I just want to be super transparent with you and real with you all the time about everything. And I have made a decision. If you are unaware, I do have an online course for spiritual practices that I use in my daily life, and I am going to keep the price very low at what it is now. I want to make this super accessible, so I am leaving it at that price for all of eternity. I will be adding new lessons to the course. If you have already joined the course, keep an eye out. I will try and send an email every time I add something new, or I will post in our private Facebook group so you are aware. So I want to keep it accessible to all of you guys, regardless of what your situation is. And if you need any additional help either getting the course or with anything at all, please reach out. You can follow or send me a message on Instagram. You don't have to follow me, it doesn't really matter. But if you need help, definitely message me on Instagram at Taylluna. That's what all of my everything is. That's where you can find me everywhere. So anyway, I hope this was well received, you guys. I adore you so much. I am here to help you always, and I promise that my next few videos will be a little bit more fun and uplifting, but I will be continuing this toxicity in the spiritual community sort of topic on the channel. I want to keep it very prevalent as I continue to share my practices with you. I just want to be very clear, okay? That's all. Again, if you haven't seen my video about spiritual bypassing, or you don't know what that means, I will link it below and in the cards. Just click the little eye icon. I don't remember which side it's on, but it's somewhere. So go and find that, go watch it, let me know what you think. And until my next video, you guys, I love you to the moon and back. I will see you very soon.